surgeons all across the world, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of Dent Talk, your very own YouTube channel, the channel for the dentists, by the dentists, and of the dentists. At the time of recording today, the tally of the COVID cases in India is 33,610 with almost 1,000 plus deaths, with the maximum number of cases in Maharashtra, followed by Gujarat, and then finally Delhi. Not the best of times going on for India, because India also lost two of its very legendary film stars, Irfan Khan yesterday and Rishi Kapoor today. Amongst the COVID news, the news is that the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, that is CDC, has enumerated 6 more symptoms of COVID-19. One of them being COVID toes, seen as a frostbite kind of a situation in the children affected by COVID-19. As the world is going through a roller coaster ride, do we have any good news in this session? Yes, indeed, we have a good news, and that is that ICMR has approved the Indian kit to detect COVID-19 being produced by MyLabs in Pune, and it is going to be in the market soon. And the second news being that the inventor of N95 masks, that is Mr. Peter Tsai from Taiwan, who was a professor of textile engineering, has been summoned back from his retired life to find out whether the N95 masks can be sterilized or re-sterilized for the next use or reuse again. At the academic front of dental education, the news is that Indian Prosthodontic Society and Indian Endodontic Society have recommended to the Dental Council of India for change in the pattern of the examinations this year. These recommendations to the Dental Council of India have been made keeping in view the curfew and the lockdown and the closure of the dental colleges. But I'm sure this is going to bring some smile and cheers on the faces of the students. So today, what is the burning issue? What could be a burning issue more than the irony of the dental surgeons all across the country? Just the other day, I was looking at the news from Karnataka that 26,000 dentists stare at darkness. But the truth is, it is not just 26,000 dentists of Karnataka, but 3 lakh plus dentists of the entire nation who are looking at darkness right now. But I personally believe that almost all the 3 lakh dental offices in the country have voluntarily themselves decided not to open the clinics, thereby putting them out of job for a long time now. And the Shimoga branch, that is in Karnataka, of Indian Dental Association has written to the Chief Minister, Mr. Yediyurappa, should be given a relaxation as far as paying the rent, and interest-free loan is demanded, and EMI return to the banks is concerned. So it is a serious issue, and it is getting serious by the day. But that's not all. Dental surgeons and the dental students sitting across the country in their homes are doing their creative bit, and they have sent us certain visuals, certain pictures, some videos, some singing, etc., which I'm going to share with you as we go ahead with the program. The panelists today are Dr. Ajay Logani, an endodontist from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, Dr. Ravi Shekhar Batra, an oral surgeon and an implantologist, again from New Delhi, and Dr. Balwinder Singh Thakkar, an orthodontist and a practicing dentist in Jaipur. My dear friends, what is the biggest fear in the mind of a dental surgeon today? We must understand that like all other professionals, dental surgeon is also a part of this economy to its own bit. We have our own share of givers and takers. I mean, givers means the people who give us money, and the takers means the people whom we give the money. Out of practice for almost 1.5 months, the balance has got disturbed. The givers are few and the takers are many. So this makes the situation desperate for a dental surgeon. That's the reason he wants to go back to the office. He wants to see the patient, and whatever little income he can generate, he wants to do that. I welcome Dr. Balwinder Thakkar in this second episode of Dent Talk, and I would talk to him regarding the economics and the microeconomics of the dental office. The first and the foremost question to you, sir, is when should we go and start our clinics?
My suggestion would be let the laws relax a bit. there is no retake in life, and especially in this problem. There are various reasons why a dentist would try to go into the clinic. It can be because of economical reasons, which is a very common reason for many. Psychosocial reason. It can be telecalls from the patients, which are also very important to be attended because it is a problematic time for the patients as well. And not every patient is a COVID patient, and not every patient who has pain can be thought of as a COVID patient and to be left untreated. With all the precautions, if at all we have to work, should work only for limited number of hours, and that also on alternate days, and that also if there is an extreme emergency by the patient. According to me, if at all your practice is there in any commercial establishment, you should wait for at least 14 days post opening of the lockdown for the dust to settle.
Dr. Balwinder, could you please enlighten us on the economic circle of the dental surgeon, how it is going to be affected?
The scenarios have changed where we have decreased income and more expenditure. Now, to balance that, relatively, maximum what we can do is we can remove, if at all there is unnecessary staff, extra staff in your practices. No bulk buyings. Do not think of buying anything which is more fancy. Think of only buying extremely useful, because for 1 year at least, you would have patients coming only for emergency procedures. Initially, if you used to have 20 patients, that patient number would drop down to 5 or 6. And in those 5 or 6 patients, we would have to sustain the clinical expenditures, our family, our assistant's family, and all. Now, how to increase the income? We have limited resources in which we can think of increasing the consultation charges a bit to include the expenditure done for sanitizer, for mouth mask, whatever we give it to them. We can increase our treatment fee, again, looking into the PPEs and other protective equipments, which would have an added cost to it. We can always draw some money out from our mutual funds at this difficult times, because I'm very sure it would be difficult to run our practices the way it was with the limited money coming in from the practice. So all these money savings which we do, as our elders used to ask us to do, is for these kind of difficult times. We can, if at all our clinics are on rent, we can always discuss with the clinic owners of the particular practice to help us give installments for their rents. Because normally the landlords also would understand the condition really well, because this is happening to everybody. We would not defer the rent, but we would always pay them in installments in coming future. We can divide that into installments and pay that when the time is well. See, this is a battle which everybody has to fight on their own. So no one has a practice similar to the other one. Every person has their own limitations, their own practice area. We do not have any unemployment bhatta, which normally is given to dentists or people working in United States or Canada.
Dr. Balwinder, do you think that the number of patients coming to the dental offices will decrease in the time to come? And when this all is going to settle down?
As of the number of patients entering the dental practice, it will for sure reduce. The patients would come only for the emergency procedures, and that also if at all they have that trust that all the possible precautions are being taken, because internet is an easy access to everybody. As of the decreased economy, the patients also would spend money only on the procedures which are extremely essential to them. They also would not come for regular cleanings or fillings, and they very well know that the saliva is an reservoir for any virus or bacteria. So we would have to accept this fact that the patient number would decrease. As of by when is this going to settle? Depending on the multiplication of the cases after the lockdown opens, it would take at least 9 months to 1 year for the things to normalize back.
So boiling down to one and only question, when do I get to the clinic and how do I start my practice? But this time we are going to discuss it from a very professional way and that is probably the only way to get back to your offices. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to remember that there are two organizations in the world. One is NIOSH, or National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health Administration. The other one is OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Both these organizations put into place the SOPs for all the professions in the world to have safe workplace environment and practices. So be it construction sites, be it the nuclear reactors, the biological labs, the hospitals, the dental offices, every organization, workplace controls have to be in place. These are the procedures that reduce the risk of exposure to hazardous chemicals or biological entities. If we have to start practicing tomorrow, the first thing which we have to put in order is the workplace controls. NIOSH gives a hierarchy of controls and it is in a reverse pyramid form. The top of the pyramid is elimination and the substitution. Now what does it mean? So the moment the world came to know about COVID-19, what the government did was eliminate and contain. So they put us under a lockdown, they put us under a containment, thereby eliminating the source from the people so that the people could not get affected. Next in the hierarchy, if you look at the chart, is the engineering controls, and after that is the administrative controls, and the bottom of the pyramid makes a PPE, that is the protective personal equipment. And if you thought that the buying a PPE and getting into the clinic is the best thing you could do, I'm sorry to say PPE is the least effective method. So in short, all the signs, all the SOPs, all the rules, all the policies in print placed in the clinic at various places for the patients and for the healthcare professionals is the administrative control. Engineering controls means isolate or remove blood-borne pathogens, hazards from the workplace. Without knowing that these were the engineering controls, we have already been doing all these things in our clinics. For example, the container for the sharps, putting the biomedical waste into red, yellow and black dustbin, needle burner which we have been using for years, use of mechanical ultrasonic instrument cleaners, endodontists and the people who have been using a rubber dam, it is also an engineering control which removes and isolates the pathogens from the healthcare workers. But the new age mechanical engineering controls will be HEPA filters, high vacuum evacuation machines, fumigators, etc., etc. It was an utter surprise to me that there was an article published in 2002. H. Miller is an oral microbiologist and advocated the use of mechanical ultrasonic cleaners and even NHVE. It's unfortunate that we've got to come to know the importance of this machine 18 years later just because of COVID-19. That article also entails the importance of hand hygiene. WHO today, in the present time of COVID-19, is advocating about the hand hygiene. The principle of 5-time hand wash before the treatment, after the treatment, during the treatment. It is said that if somebody is doing that hand hygiene very well, probably it is much better than using the PPEs which are in vogue today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have another set of questions for our next panelist, that is Dr. Ajay Logani, an endodontist from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. Dr. Ajay Logani is with us right now and let's ask him the relevant questions. Sir, is it the right time to go to the clinic and see the patients with immediate effect as of today?
Yes, if you are already in the green or the orange area, and if the government policies are allowing your dental clinics to be open, and if you do get an emergency patient, I think in my opinion, you should not be refusing that patient. You should relieve that patient of his or her pain, but definitely by keeping all the precautions.
Sir, will we have new expenses post COVID in terms of equipment and other infrastructural changes?
Post COVID dental practice would require some investment. This investment would be in the form of new equipments and in the form of restructuring your dental clinic. As far as equipments are concerned, you would have to start with by purchasing a non-contact thermometer, because that would be the first barrier where you could know whether the patient is having fever or not. Then you would need to have some equipments which are basically to prevent cross infection. You would need to invest in Class B autoclaves. You would need to invest in UV chambers and also have fogging machines which could sterilize or seal the area between patients. As far as the infrastructural changes are concerned, you would require to make sure that there is a separate entry and exit for the patient. In addition, you would require a donning and doffing rooms for the PPE and also have negative pressure chamber units. Investment would be in the form of air conditioning. If you have air conditioners, centrally air conditioners, then you would require HEPA 14 filters, which is a costly changeover.
Sir, what kind of PPEs are recommended? What is the routine cost of the PPEs, and is that cost going to be economically viable?
Personal protection equipment or PPE would be required both for the dental surgeon as well as the chairside assistant. The type of personal protection equipment would determine whether you are examining a patient or if you are doing an aerosol generating procedure. If you're just examining a patient, then what you require is a head cap, an eye protective goggle, an N95 mask, and a nitrile gloves. If you're doing a procedure which is anticipating that there would be spatter or aerosol generation, then in addition to what I have mentioned, you would require a body suit as well as a face shield is necessary. These are not to be reused, they are single use, and the only thing which you can reuse is an N95 mask for approximately 6 to 8 hours, but if that gets soiled, then that also has to be discarded. The cost of a personal protection equipment can vary anything between 800 to 1000 rupees. But if you are using the personal protection equipment which is only for examination, that should be around 300 to 400. The question whether this is economically viable, you have to understand that when you're dealing with such a dangerous disease, economics takes a backseat over safety. Jaan hai to jahan hai. This investment is absolutely necessary.
Does this mean that the cost of the dental treatment is going to increase?
Yes, the cost of dental treatment is set to increase. This is basically because of the enhanced infection control measures which would need to be put in place in the dental clinic. For every patient, 2 sets of PPE would be required. One would be needed to be donned by the dentist and the other to be by the chairside assistant. And these are going to be single-use PPEs, so you will have to change them after every patient. And the cost of the PPE would need to be added to the cost of the treatment. As far as who's going to bear the cost of this PPE is going to be an individual decision.
Sir, does this mean that the number of patients which will be seen will be less here on?
Yes, the number of patients being seen in the dental clinic per day are going to be less. At present, you really need to concentrate and triage your patients. Only the emergency patients need to be seen. All elective procedures need to be postponed. You would need to spend more time on infection control measures. You will have to clean the operatory with 1% sodium hypochlorite thoroughly between 2 patients. you will have to take in consideration that the time for donning and doffing of the PPE would need to be added. In addition, the time you would be spending under these stressful conditions to treat a patient is set to increase. In my opinion, you would be able to comfortably do 2 to 3 patients in the pre-lunch session and maybe the same number of patients either in the afternoon or in the evening.
Dear colleagues, this was Dr. Ajay Logani with his very, very valuable inputs. So my dear friends, what do? We just do our best and be prepared for the worst. So let's look at this chart here. To the administrative controls and engineering controls, we've added another word, and that is disinfection or sterilization control. Elimination and the substitution has already been done at the government level. But rest of the controls are to be taken care of by us in our clinics. But on the left side as a column, you will see different situations. And these are the situations which we will come across in our dental clinic. In all these respective situations, you would see you just need to fill up these controls and you can do it on your own. You can have more situations, you can have less situations also. This activity to begin with look cumbersome, but since it will be in front of you in the form of a chart and you will be doing it at the daily basis along with your staff, it will start seeming easy in next few days. You need to get your staff together and train them. You have to reduce their timing of work. You have to have a staggered job duties, which means not more than 16 hours in a week. So if you are working on alternate days and that's 3 hours in a day, that will be not more than 12 hours a week. Now it is said that when you are going to the office less, you are decreasing the viral load. And again, dear colleagues, I shall give you an example of rehearsal of exercising all the controls for one patient right from entering our clinic to the time he is discharged. However, if you find it difficult to understand, you can ask for a chart filled up with all the controls at various situations, and you can seek it sending us an email at dentalk2020@gmail.com. Now the patient is on the telephone and your front officer is talking to him or her, and on call he or she is taking the history of fever, cough and all the COVID related symptoms. Then you fix the time, okay, you can come at this hour. You ensure that okay, one patient comes into the office, there is no guardian along with, they'll have to sit in the car outside unless and until you give them a signal to come inside, and label on your main door, open your door with your elbow. Keep your mask on your face when you enter the clinic. The moment the patient is in the clinic, the chairs and the seating arrangement is done in such a way that the seating is done in an alternate manner so that a social distancing is maintained. Labels of do not touch anything, stay away from the reception, floor marks, where to stand, and directives for hand washes, face wash, etc. Administrative controlled signs asking them to go into the washroom, clean their hands with the soap, clean their face with the soap, dry it in the air, and then finally come for that disinfectant spray to you. So you offered the patient the pre-procedural rinse, you checked the temperature of the patient with the infrared thermometer, then you're finally taking the patient to the operator. Now coming to the engineering controls. Engineering controls are for you and your staff. Starting from the hand hygiene, handling the biological waste, use of barriers, plastic for handles of chairs, etc., and barriers for everything possible. You should also use disposable paper bibs in future. The third very important part is the environmental disinfection and sterilization control. See, I believe that the sterilization part in dental offices was always good. We were all using autoclaves. But now the question is about the disinfection and the cleaning. Oral surgeons probably are the best people amongst the dental surgeons who can understand the gravity of this situation because they understand the sterilization and the protocols the best. So all my questions to be directed to Dr. Ravi Shekhar Batra would be all regarding the sterilization, disinfection, etc., etc. I welcome you, Dr. Ravi Shekhar Batra, to the second episode of Den Talk. Dr. Ravi, we have been doing sterilization all our life. Any special tips you would like to give post COVID scenario?
The important role in the outcome of your dental treatment. So what I would advise is follow the guidelines by CDC for sterilizing your instruments. There are various steps. So the first step would be as soon as you finish your treatment, put your instruments in a enzymatic solution, which will take care of all the blood sticking to the instruments. Second is wash it and then again put it in your ultrasonic cleaner, by ultrasonic cleaning you'll decrease the bioburden on the instruments, followed by cleaning again with fresh water and drying it, and then autoclaving the instruments. It's high time we follow all these protocols for a better outcome of dentistry.
After COVID 19, surface disinfection of dental clinics has emerged as one of the key factors. What is your take on that?
I think the best way to disinfect your chair is by fogging or by surface disinfectant. Use a suitable surface disinfectant, and that should be enough, and that is in between every patient. I've seen some videos, I've seen people wrapping cling sheet around the chair seat or the headrest. You're basically giving more areas for bacteria to hide, and it becomes more difficult to clean in between the crevices. So I think you're making it more prone for infection. The best would be to leave a laminated surface plain, smooth, and disinfect surface using a surface disinfectant in between each and every patient.
Sir, leaving aside the surgeons, fumigation and fumigators is new to routine dental office. How should one go about it?
Fumigating OT is must, especially during this COVID period. Fumigating in between each and every patient. So I finish one patient, fumigate the OT, and before I take up the next patient. Of course, the compound is different what we use. Earlier we used to use formaldehyde. The problem with formaldehyde, it is very effective for fumigation, but the problem is it's very irritant to the eyes, and once you fumigate you cannot use your operatory for next 4 to 5 hours depending on the ventilation. Whereas what I now use is what they call as ammonium compounds. The protocol is very simple. It takes only 5 minutes to fumigate the OT, wait for 10 minutes, ventilate your operatory, and then you can start using it. So I think this is the best method of using a ammonium compound based fumigators.
Mind you, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the engineering controls, you have placed your barriers, you have done your hand hygiene, and you have chairs are sanitized under the environmental and sanitization control. Now the most important thing which you think is the PPE, and how many PPEs do we require? That if you are buying a PPE for yourself, you have to get one for your staff also. Donning on and doffing, that is putting on and putting off the PPE kit and disposing it in the best possible way is another challenge which our assistants are not tuned to. Probably even we are not tuned to. So we need to learn it now, and we need to teach it now as well. You have put on your PPEs and your chairs are sanitized. So once the patient is in the dental chair and the examination is being done, and then you finally decide that you need an X-ray. And do you know what is recommended in the COVID-19? That you should go for an OPG. And what about the people who do not have an OPG? You can go in for covering the sensors of an RVG. And what about the people who do not even have the RVG? So this is another challenge for the people who are not equipped in their clinics to do everything. The patient in the chair, you declare the diagnosis, you try doing the RCT by not using the handpiece because compressor is out of question to be used. You are not going to create the splatter, you are not going to create the aerosol unless and until you have this machine that is known as HVE, which costs you 80,000 rupees right now. So now the patient is leaving, and your engineering controls and your sterilization controls are going on. Your staff is doing whatever they have been doing earlier too. And when the patient goes to the reception, remember they say don't charge the money in cash because it can infect you. So that means the plastic money needs to be used now. That is the credit cards, probably that can be done. Remove the barriers and you put your instruments into Corsolex which they say can disinfect to a larger extent in 20 minutes, and later on these instruments go into a mechanical wash and then finally into the autoclave for the next day. And then you doff the PPEs and then hose them off in the best possible way. Now you set on for a bigger task, that's fumigation. And we all know that fumigation further is of so many types, and then probably you're going to shut your clinic tomorrow. That's the time when your viral load will decrease, because mind-boggling, tiring, difficult to understand, cumbersome, you can use any word for this. But believe me, this is the life which a dental surgeon is looking up to. The workplace controls, when put together in all the conditions, right from getting the patient in to treating the patient and sending him off, is gonna. My dear friends, you remember I told you about the Dentalk challenge? Yes, I'm very happy and I'm very glad that I received a couple of prototype models from various students, and one of the models was for an HVE, that is high. Designer believes that it can be done at 1/4 of the cost, because it just has a 250 watt motor and all you need is to put the engineering assembly together, and it is possible. And when I inquired about the sound of this motor in the dental office, he said there are ways by using bushes made out of certain materials which can reduce sound in the dental clinic to a larger extent. So maybe the model and the design, the prototype, if we can put in an effort, I think we can come up with something like this. Also, dear viewers, a very practical face shield innovation has been sent to us by Bhanuj Arora, a second year student of Adesh University Dental College. I'm sure you will find it very, very useful. We will show the video of its making towards the end of the program. So Bhanuj Arora indeed is the winner of this week's Dentalk Innovation Challenge. I think this is the objective of Dentalk, to encourage the students to do it yourself. But I'm immensely happy at the participation of the dental students from various colleges across the country. It is the confidence of these students which keep us happy and keep us alive and kicking. To end the program, I will put on air some videos of some of the students, the beautiful melodies which they have sent, and it will inspire us to fight this disease and to be happy and wait for the next episode of Dentalk, where probably we can discuss something else and do something better. Keep healthy, keep safe, keep home, and God bless you all.
ਕਿ ਦਿਨ ਕਾਲਜ ਦੇ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਆਉਣੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਆ ਸਕਦੇ, ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੌਜਾਂ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਭੁਲਾ ਸਕਦੇ, ਕੁਝ ਖਾਸ ਜੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਗਏ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਦਿਲ ਚੋਂ ਕੱਢਣੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਕੱਢੇ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ, ਘੁੰਮੀਆਂ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਥਾਵਾਂ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ, ਹੁਣ ਵਕਤ ਪੁਰਾਣਾ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਸ ਦਿਲ ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਸਮਝਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿ ਛੱਡ ਰੰਧਾਵੇ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਮੁੜ ਮੁੜ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਲੋਕ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਵਕਤ ਹੁਣ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਸਕਦੇ।
ये आरज़ू कैसे रुके, मंज़िल क्या, धुंधला साहिल तो क्या, तन्हा ये दिल तो क्या।